Hello, the ghosts that live inside the wires that power the internet have brought you to us live here at reInvent at the Venetian. I'm A.M. Grabelny, an evangelist here. We've got Linda, Chase, and Narayan.
Hey.
All serverless people, right? You're my people.
Yeah. Over, yes.
All right. Will you go down the line real quick for me? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Linda.
Okay, my name is Linda Leanne. I'm a senior product marketing manager for serverless. I'm also serverless.
Hi, I'm Chase Douglas. I'm the CTO at Stackery, where we accelerate teams building serverless applications.
Fantastic. I'm Narayan Subramaniam. I'm the senior manager with the load balancing team here at AWS.
Now we have got a jam-packed set of announcements, don't we, for serverless. It was very exciting for me watching Werner announce all these things. As a serverless app dev, I love serverless. I can't state it too many times, I promise. So we're going to be talking about the Lambda Layers. We're going to be talking about nested apps. We're going to be talking about ALB support. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Ruby.
Yep.
What am I missing? Anything?
Runtime API.
Runtime API.
Yep.
API gateway with WebSockets 2 coming soon. So we're going to talk about all of these things and try and get it in 20 minutes or so. We'll see how that works out for us. Narayan, we're starting with you.
Fantastic.
ALB with Lambda as a trigger. What is ALB?
Yeah, so Application Load Balancer is a layer 7 load balancer that load balances HTTP and HTTPS targets to your backend targets such as IP addresses, EC2 instances, containers, and now Lambda as a function as well. ALB has got very, very diverse content-based routing features that are pretty deep, and based on the content of the request, you can actually get a particular HTTP or HTTPS request to a particular backend target, be it an EC2 instance, a Lambda function, or IP as a target.
Okay, great. And traditionally, you have used services like perhaps ECS or EC2 as targets for
the application load
ALB
balancer.
resolves to, right?
Correct, yeah.
But now we have Lambda.
We totally have Lambda as a target that can now be a target behind the application load balancer. Thereby, customers could actually have a single HTTP endpoint that can invoke a Lambda function, or they can also load balance to EC2 instances or container-based applications.
This may be an obvious question, but why would I want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of few big use cases there, right? As customers are moving more and more to distributed microservices, there is a growing need to have more flexibility around cost-effective compute, be it server or serverless. Right. And the big thing is it's not uncommon for customers to have serverless functions like Lambda functions or EC2 instances, and they're building applications using a combination of the two. Until this point, you needed to use an ALB to front your EC2 instance-based applications or containers, and then you used another proxy for Lambda-based functions.
Right. Usually API gateway.
Yeah, usually API gateway, right? But now what you could do is you could just have the same application load balancer front all these different aspects of either serverless or server compute together using the same HTTP endpoint. So it's cost-effective. Customers love the fact that it's going to be monitoring at the same layer for all their compute resources. And the third big thing is it also makes it extremely operationally easy for customers.
Sure. And that kind of sounds to me like a little bit around the theme of some of these announcements, right?
Yeah.
There's code deduplication, right? We don't want to be duplicating code across these functions. In this case, it's kind of more of a unification of services, adding in more invocation methods for Lambda.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally get it. It's very convenient to be able to front just all of your microservices with the same load balancer.
Exactly.
Very great, right?
Yep, that's amazing.
You got something to show us, right?
Yeah. So I think the couple of big use cases that I wanted to quickly talk about is one is, you could have multiple Lambda functions behind the same application load balancer, and the fact that we support content-based routing, you could use the content of your header to route to the appropriate Lambda function that you want. Right, so that is one big use case, and I have a big demo here that I can quickly walk through. What we have here is basically an online survey that we pretty much put together using a Lambda function, and we're using DynamoDB as our base. And if you actually take a look at the endpoint that I'm actually getting into, I'm hitting an application load balancer here. And the application,
sneaky.
and then what you're actually seeing is a /survey, which is actually using content-based routing to get to the right Lambda function, right? And once you fill up the survey right here, the results are actually shown right here, as you can see. You can actually see all the results of which demo painted the best GIF, right? Or which demo is your favorite. You can see pretty much all these graphs to tell you what type of responses you're getting. Yet another demo here is analytics. So I want to look at which page, or which customer from which geo actually logged in to visit this page. Again, powered by Lambda function, you're getting to an HTTP endpoint using application load balancer, and then finally, we are also using Elasticsearch with Lambda functions to actually power this up. So if you take a look at how the analytics looks, here at how it looks, it shows you from which location you have customers visiting this website.
All right.
And then you can also look at all these different statistics to give you the total count, what's your source IP address, the user agency, right? All this analytics that you can extract. And all of this powered by application load balancer, fronting a Lambda function, you have Lambda function and then Elasticsearch all working in tandem to make it really easy.
I love the cat the most.
Hey, you love the cat?
I'm
That's
sorry.
amazing, isn't it?
I like the cat the most.
Okay.
But all that other stuff is really cool too.
Yeah,
Promise.
totally.
Yeah.
We
Thank you.
love animals. Perfect. Thank
you very much.
Thanks a
Narayan.
lot. Yeah.
So, Linda, I'm coming for you next.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah, not in an aggressive way. I'm just excited.
I'm excited too, AM.
Are you?
Yes, very.
Okay. I think I believe you. We'll see. But Ruby, tell me about Ruby support.
Well, our developers are always asking us for more languages when they're building their Lambda functions.
No, I don't believe
you. They want
Developers are
everything.
asking for
They
other
want it all.
languages.
And we want to give it to you all. So we're really excited about our Ruby support, which was launched in Werner's keynote today. With Ruby, we now support natively 7 different languages. But there was another part of Werner's announcement that's almost more exciting to me, and that's called the Runtime API for Lambda. And what the Runtime API does is it allows you to bring any shell script, runtime, or language version that you want to use for AWS Lambda. So today, language is no longer a barrier. All you have to do is upload your custom runtime, and when you fire off your Lambda function, specify that you want to use a custom runtime, and we'll bootstrap that runtime with you when your code goes off. So we're really excited about what the community might build and all the cool runtimes that they're going to make on their own, and to kind of get the juices flowing. We've open sourced C++ and we've open sourced Rust, and we have an awesome group of partners that have provided their own runtimes. So for example, Alert Logic provided Elixir and Erlang, Blue Age provided COBOL.
COBOL!
That's crazy.
Wow, rearing
and
its head.
actually Stackery provided PHP, so we're super excited about that.
All right, so Chase, they
Yes.
mentioned Stackery.
Yeah.
That's you, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Stackery is serverless acceleration software. We accelerate teams that are building serverless applications, whether it's their first time or whether they're needing to extend what they've already built.
Okay, great. And so one of the things that I love about Runtime is that partners, customers, just general people in the public like me, we can come bring our own runtimes and then distribute those, right?
Yeah,
Can you tell me
exactly.
about how you did that with PHP?
Yeah, we were very excited to be launch partners with the Lambda Runtime and Layers feature. We make it really easy with our drag and drop UI. The layers you can specify with an easy select drop down, which makes it really easy to have consistency as you're building your applications. So we looked around and tried to understand what was the runtime that people wanted to see the most. And by far, it was PHP. So we went ahead, we created a PHP layer that's your custom runtime. It lets you render your web pages the way that you expect them to, the way that they've always worked. In fact, in the past, people have argued that PHP was the original serverless language because you'd get a request, you would run one script, and it'd go back out the door
You
again.
send your HTML, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Right, no server needed. Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. This is a very important question that I have to ask you, and this could make or break
Uh-oh.
your PHP runtime,
No,
personally
no.
speaking. For me,
Yeah?
maybe for everyone. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
What version of PHP?
7.1.
You dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
That's when I looked at PHP again. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is actually really nice.
Yeah, it's great.
There's some
It's
things
great.
in there that yeah.
Yeah.
You figured out some of the classes. and- Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so PHP 7. That's good. That's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
But that's one of the things about runtime and layers in general too, right? Is versioning.
Yeah, well, let me talk a little bit about Lambda Layers. So Chase, you kept saying layers, and probably people are like, what's runtime, what's layers, how do they work together? Well, we also announced Lambda Layers today. And Lambda Layers is a super powerful feature of AWS Lambda where now you can share and manage code and data across different groups of functions. So in the past, you would write your function, you would package up the SDK or the binaries that you needed, and you would do that for every single function. Well, now you can upload all of that as a zip file, as a layer, and point your Lambda functions to that layer. So what Stackery provided was both a runtime API in the sense that they use the runtime API to provide PHP as a layer.
Yep,
so it's
exactly.
incredibly powerful, and we're really excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So with layers in mind too, there was also an announcement around
Oh, yes.
nested apps,
Yes.
right? And so how do nested apps and layers kind of play together?
Well, so if you think about layers as increasing the composability of your individual functions and allowing you to kind of manage them more holistically, or you can think about nested apps as being able to enhance the composability of your application architecture. So with nested apps, which is a super powerful new feature for serverless application repository, you can actually create applications that your team verifies and tests and deploys, and you can actually use these application or application components within larger applications. And now, AM, I'm coming for you.
Oh no,
So
turning it back around on
you
me.
did say you like to develop serverless applications. So what do you think about
I
nested
never
apps?
said that. I don't.
Why
My
wouldn't
hubris.
you?
My hubris
Come
has
on.
been my undoing. You know? Okay, yeah, I do. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I like serverless a lot.
Yeah.
We did have a question from the chat stream real quick
Okay.
about layers. How do you reference the code? Can you speak to that a little bit, Linda?
So you upload the layer as a zip file,
Sure.
right? And then when you're invoking your function, you'll just simply point it to that layer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
it's super simple. It's part of the invocation process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
And you can refer to our documentation to learn more about the specifics.
All right, back to nested apps. It's my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. I'm testing you now.
Okay, so nested apps, right? I've given a few serverless talks, a couple.
Okay.
And one of the best practices that, not best practice, but one of the warnings maybe that I've had to give in the past about writing a serverless app is you're not gonna be able to be dry all the time, right? Don't repeat yourself. You're gonna have to repeat yourself sometimes, pulling in functionality from other Lambdas, other functions, other code sources that maybe you have to, again, duplicate because
What's the use case that you're always finding yourself duplicating code for?
there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a lot actually, but loggers for
Oh,
one,
okay.
right? Like, I gotta, maybe I'm building the logger in the same function, and it's got all this setup that I have to do to it. I'm gonna have to bring that in, especially in languages like C# that I'm a big fan of. So yeah, you have to set up like DI maybe and hook in your logger. But with nested applications, I can do that once now. I can do that once, put it into the serverless application repository, even as a private application too, and just reference that in my CloudFormation template, a SAM template, right?
Yeah.
What's a SAM template, you might ask? Well, it's a serverless application template, right? That lets you write CloudFormation in a shorter, more compact form that will build out more pieces of infrastructure for you, right? So you can just use like events and say the event I want is an API gateway. You don't have to define out the API gateway.
Yep.
In CloudFormation, it'll go build it for you, right?
Yeah, and when you're developing with Runtime API or Lambda Layers, you can use the serverless application model, which, as AM stated, is a simplified syntax on top of CloudFormation to specify your serverless resources. You can also use the SAM local CLI to deploy and manage your resources. And actually, Chase, I want to ask you about
Yes.
SAM, because
Yeah.
I think it's a critical part of Stackery as well, right?
Right. We help our customers build their serverless applications by providing a two-way translation between a higher level architectural diagram that then is compiled down into native SAM. It really helps our customers because they can understand things like the SAM policy templates a little bit easier. They can understand how the events are connected between functions and things like APIs and soon to be load balancers. It's a really powerful mechanism, and we're very glad that it was available to us to build on top of.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Great. So just to bring it a little bit back to the nested app too, and to kind of complete the thought of the logger, right? I now only have one serverless application. That's the thing too, right? We're talking about Lambdas, but the whole serverless application model in general is multiple pieces, right? And so I can build a full serverless application that I then reference to. It's not just a Lambda, right? So in the case of the logger, it might just be a Lambda that I'm referencing. But then I just invoke that function directly from the reference that I'm making in the functions that are then using it, right? My other serverless applications that depend on that logger existing, and I don't have to pull that code in for each individual function. So.
And you can share that logger piece with either the broader community or your private team or developers that you know and love to help them out. And that's what serverless is all about.
There are a lot of developers that I love.
Yeah. Would you share your logger Lambda with them?
I don't have one, but maybe I need to make one. I do have a Lambda function I'm thinking about for a nested app now that it's basically a GIF maker, right? So it sends it to Elastic Transcoder. It takes actually WebM, like a movie, like you'd get from HTML5 media, and just converts it to a GIF, right?
Nice.
I was making like a little GIF photo booth.
It was awesome seeing in Werner's keynote how
Yeah.
Fender was just piecing together all of these managed services, just like you're talking about, to do real, live, important, meaningful workloads using all these technologies.
Yeah, Fender's one that is close to my heart too. I'm a musician.
Oh, are you?
I am, yeah. I used to play it. If the
Are you playing at
Cyberns didn't
Replay?
give it away, but I used to be in bands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you opening for Skrillex tonight?
I don't have that much clout. No, I don't. Our genres would clash anyway.
Okay.
It's okay. No, like I felt the same way about Fender. It's a company that I've long respected, and to see them get further and further into the digital space, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're using serverless technology.
Yep.
They're hitting all the places in my heart and my soul, right? I mean.
For sure.
Yeah. So did you bring up Fender because you play too, or you just like that use case?
I have a guitar and ukulele at home that
Okay.
I've not gotten good enough at.
All
And when
right.
I heard that they had the app to make me a musician,
Yeah.
I was really excited.
You're gonna have to come back on the stream and play.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Will you really? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Wow. You better not commit yourself to something that you can't follow through on. I'm just saying.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
you know.
it will be long gone by then.
Yeah.
You'll have packed it up and left. Okay, I see how you're operating. That's fair. So yeah, I think, Linda, just to highlight that other part that you had said, it is very powerful the way that you can share these applications across the board, right? And I have a feeling that probably more and more partners will be
Well,
contributing
speaking
as well.
of bands, we have this thing we like to call Serverless Nirvana.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
okay.
we think developer Nirvana is serverless. And I mean, there's a couple really important parts of this, right? So you're able to develop any pattern that you want with things like ALB for Lambda. You're able to, reuse code components and Lego block your different serverless microservices together without having to write duplicative code. You don't have to manage the infrastructure and do the server patching and provisioning and scaling because we do all of that on the back end for you. But the most important thing is that, you're able to use the tools, the IDEs, and the languages that you really know and love. And so we're always working along those fronts, and today the launches were a really good reflection of that, I think.
Yeah, shout out to the IDE and SDK teams
super
for
exciting.
VS Code too. That VS
sure.
Code extension.
I love it.
I'm a
You
big VS
had
Code.
been waiting for that for a long time, right?
Well, Steve Roberts and I kind of kicked off the ground.
That's right.
on that one. I'm a big VS Code
That's
user.
right.
I love it.
You started the whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start the whole thing. No. I cannot take that kind of credit. There's an entire team that worked on it that I just. So let's recap. We talked about bring your runtime. So Lambda runtime, Lambda layers, API gateway WebSockets coming soon. ALB
Support for Lambda as a target.
Support for Lambda. Nested applications. What am I missing? Anything?
And check out all the really cool community-developed runtimes and layers, like the one from
PHP.
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 Test it out.
Put it together using Stackery.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way.
So where can I go to learn more?
You can go to the Compute blog, our What's New blogs, our open source blog, our GitHub for C++ and Rust, and then you can go to the Lambda console or Stackery and start getting hands-on with it today.
All right, Linda, Chase,
Perfect.
Ryan, thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.